It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. And now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Showtime. It's the Geno Jones Showtime. So here I am, 7:30 on the East Coast, 6:30 in Chicago, everybody on Central Time. 5:30 in Denver, Colorado, everybody on Mountain Time. 4:30 out on the West Coast, live in Los Angeles, Las Vegas, up in Portland, Oregon, Seattle, from San Diego to San Francisco, Oakland, Bay Area, Sacramento, stand up. Here we go. Like from the very top, I need you to do this for me, right? Help a brother up. I need your help. We all we got, but we are all we need. And we got everything we need. So, like, share, and subscribe. Click that button for me right now. You see it below, thumbs up. That's a like. Well, you can only do one. I was going to say, if you can't give a brother 2, 3, you only got 2 thumbs. Thumbs up, like, share, copy and paste the link and share it in an email and a text message. Copy and paste the link and share it on every social media platform that you know. Like, share, and tell everybody to subscribe to the Geno Jones Show YouTube channel. All right, programming note, no live show on Tuesday, July 14th. And in about 2 weeks or less, within the next 2 weeks, there'll be a new start time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. on the West Coast. But right now, here we are, our regular start time. So let me start off. Big weekend for the communities. Just at the community of Black America. It was a big weekend for the community and for the culture. It was. So let me start off. Shout out to the world's largest house music picnic and festival. They've been doing it. This is year 30, the 36th year. The chosen few DJs and brothers, iconic DJs doing house music from back in the day. Really almost, I don't want to say proteges because I don't know how many of them actually work with Frankie Knuckles, but inspired by this brother, rest in power, Frankie Knuckles. Frankie Knuckles, the original, the only godfather of house, the original godfather of house music, DJ, opened up a club back in the Chicago area, back in Chicago. As a matter of fact, the near Loop area called The Warehouse on Jefferson Street way back in the late 70s. And man, The Warehouse, Frankie Knuckles was jamming. He would play like R&B music that was played like disco, but then in Chicago in like 78, you had a bunch of races blow up like 50,000, all these disco records at the old Comiskey Park where the Chicago White Sox played. They called it Disco Demolition Night. This DJ, rock DJ named Steve Dahl, legendary DJ in Chicago, Steve Dahl, hated, big fat old sloppy white dude, hated disco because wasn't nobody gonna dance with his fat sloppy looking ass anyway. So he just hated it. And so for all the other nerds and slobs and races that, wouldn't get no love in the clubs back in the disco era, they weren't cool or whatever it was. They didn't bathe and nasty. So they hated disco. Really, it was really anti-black because it was a lot of the races like, this is like an early, way pre-MAGA event. So if you were racist, you probably hated disco too. Like everybody that hated disco weren't racist, but if you were a racist, you hated disco. So anyway, house music, this dance music went underground in Chicago and in the black community because a lot of it was R&B music, up-tempo music from artists in the 70s, folks like Teddy Pendergrass, only you got what I need. I mean, so many, everybody had this group you never heard of, the Originals, Down to Love Town. So there was a lot, and Teddy had another up-tempo cut, Teddy Pendergrass did. But there were a lot of R&B acts that had this up-tempo, fast beat, up-tempo music, strong bass line that, DJs were mixing together. And then what happened, a lot of the DJs in Chicago, they started creating their own music. these up-tempo beats that they would mix with these classic dance songs, up-tempo R&B or up-tempo / dance R&B songs from back in the day. Love Hangover, Diana Ross, Frankie Knuckles did a special remix on that. Like part 2, MFSB, Love Is the Message, special remix. Shout out to Larry Levan. Really, Larry Levan is out of New York, but a lot of that music. Shout out to Philly International, because they had a lot of the early what became like soulful house music, and it was just up-tempo R&B. That was dance music that they played in the disco, disco clubs back when in discos, like heyday in the like late 70s, early 80s, especially that late 70s was like the period. So shout out to the chosen few, these DJs, house DJs, iconic house DJs, DJ Wayne Williams, who I know very well, DJ Terry Hunter, who I haven't had a chance to meet, but I'm looking forward to it. But a lot of these guys back in the day, they were young cats, like late teens, early 20s. They were DJing parties. You got brothers Andre and Tony Hatchett, Jesse Saunders. So these were like the original, and they formed an organization, a group of the DJs called themselves the Chosen Few DJs. And they started doing a picnic, really to start it off. Just like one of the DJs, I saw documentaries like him and his family, they was just kind of getting together and told some of the other cats, hey, we're going to be out right behind the Museum of Science and Industry on the south lakefront of Chicago, 57th Street, right behind it. Every year, black folks would go back there and take a grill and party and take some speakers. Or somebody, DJ took his speakers and his records out there and his amp and just started playing music. And I think it was Tony. I think Tony Hatchett is the one I saw in the documentary. And he said it was 30, 40 people. It was mainly just his family and some friends, like some of these DJs that were tight. And then I think he said the next year it was like 300 people. And then the next year it just got so big. Pretty soon the city was like, what the hell's going on? Because they was getting like thousands of people and like the cars were parking everywhere on the grass and just that whole area. Because I know the racist white folks that don't like to see black folks having a good time. I know they was tripping, calling the police. Look at these black thugs are with this loud music and this ghetto loud music, and oh my God, and please, I'm afraid for my life. Please, police come. So it got so big, so they had to coordinate it with the city and the police, and now 40,000 people from all over the world. But it's still a true Chicago thing. Now, if you love house music, hey, come party. We don't give a damn. Because literally, people come from overseas, from Europe, all over to this picnic. It is incredible. As a matter of fact, you can, right here on YouTube, you'll see some videos. As a matter of fact, there are probably some videos from the Chosen Few picnic that happened Saturday. And then there's some documentaries on how they first started the organization, how they first started doing this picnic and music festival. So shout out to the Chosen Few, all the DJs. I know I left out a few names, but shout out to my man Wayne Williams. I didn't get a chance. That's a whole nother story. Maybe I'll tell you about it later. So I was hoping to see these guys. I was just hoping to see so many friends. This is like a big reunion, family and friends. You get together folks you hadn't seen since maybe grade school, high school, college, family members. It's really cool. And it's really like an all ages kind of thing. You got like grandparents and parents and kids. So it's pretty cool. And they have they have tents, and folks had tents with beds in them. And shout out to Lisa Ray. She was one of the MCs. And shout out to, I believe, my girl Robin Robinson, who's a legendary news anchor in Chicago. Actually, we used to work together. I had an internship as working in a newsroom when I was in Columbia College, Chicago in the mid-'80s. And when Robin Robinson first came to Chicago from Denver, Colorado, and brought with her this tall, light-skinned dude, this good hair and all that, as they used to say back in the day. Brother played ball over in Europe, not in the NBA, but he played in Europe. Who was this tall? It had had on a brown leather suit. I'll never forget. brought him to the newsroom and paraded him around the newsroom like he was a supermodel. And the brother's name was, hey, what's your name, brother? Stedman. I know you're saying Stedman. That's Stedman. Oprah Stedman. Stedman Graham. The Stedman Graham. Yes, Oprah's Stedman Graham. Before he was Oprah's Stephen, my man, he was Robin Robinson Stedman Graham. Before he was Oprah's Stedman Graham, he was Robin's Stedman Graham. She literally brought him, I think they were living together in Denver, Colorado. She got this great job as a news anchor in Chicago. He came to Chicago with her, and they were together for a while, and all of a sudden, because we used to play basketball together sometimes at one of the YMCAs. A bunch of us young brothers that worked at Channel 2. Shout out to my man Lathan Hodge. And played, I was in a couple of the games, played with Stedman. He was cool. Stedman was really a cool brother. And then all of a sudden, it was like, you know who Stedman dating now? It was like, who? It was like, Oprah. Like, Oprah? Like, what happened to Robin Robinson? But anyway, I just thought I'd spill that little tea. But anyway, she was one of the co-hosts at the Chosen Few Picnic and Music Festival Saturday at Jackson Park. As a matter of fact, right behind the Obama Presidential Center. Just right behind it, just east in between, like, the lakefront. The lake was there, 63rd Street Beach, 63rd and Hayes Street, that whole park area, it's maybe maybe 3 or 4 blocks between Hayes Drive. Not even that far. Yeah, maybe between Hayes Drive and the lakefront. So if you're from Chicago, you know that area. 63rd and Hayes, just right between, like I said, 63rd Street Beach and the Obama Presidential Center, which is like on 61st and Stony Island. It's literally, you can walk it. It's not even an 8-block difference. It's really that maybe at the most, you might be walking from 60th and Stony Island, where the museum, the Obama Presidential Center is, the museum, and then they got the center. And then if you were walking to the 63rd Street Beach, that might be close to maybe 8 blocks. And in the middle between 63rd Street Beach, the lake, and the Obama Presidential Center is 63rd and Hayes, where the picnic. So shout out to the Chosen Few DJs. Hey, listen, shout me out, everybody. I see you watching me live. So if you're watching live right now, leave your comment in the comment section below. Yes, please leave your comment so I can shout you out. If you're watching me live or however you're watching, shout a brother out. You want me to shout you out? All my Cancers celebrating your birthday. Come on, Cancer season. It's your time to shine. So happy birthday to you if you are celebrating a birthday on today, July 13th. Now, like I said, it was a big week for the culture and the community. So in Chicago, we had the world's largest, and then on top of it, so they had the Taste of Chicago, which is this huge food and music festival, started in the mid-'80s. I was working my first job in radio, WBMX, working part-time. Got a chance to, be one of the MCs on stage. So and it went away for a minute. They brought it back, so it's downtown. So you have all these food vendors, and they started this way back in like the mid-'80s. And wow, the Taste of Chicago is some really good food. If you are a culinary, a lover of different culinary delights, I guess. If you are a foodie, if you like different type of cuisine, or like I said, if you're just one of those that just has that culinary passion, all that, check it out. You'll love the variety. So, my favorite was the corn on the cob, because there's a lot of stuff I don't eat. I think one year this legendary place, Harold's Chicken, I think they had a booth down there too. The owner of Harold's Chicken is this iconic legendary fried chicken place. And it was a black man named Harold who started it, and his family took it over. And I think the daughter that had control of it recently died a couple months ago, and then now this is big dispute. But don't mess up the recipe, y'all. I don't know. Y'all work that out. But when I come back to Chicago, shout out that they got a Harold's location across from my old college, Columbia College, Chicago on Wabash. And man, I got turned on to that when I went home for Allie's graduation. I was like, damn, man, this fried chicken is the bomb. So anyway, Taste of Chicago. Anybody knows about it, you got family and friends. Maybe you've gone to the Taste of Chicago because they draw people from all over the world. Shout out to Common. He was performing live at the Taste of Chicago this weekend. So it was a big weekend for the culture. Now let's go ahead and go about, maybe 1,000 miles east of Chicago. As a matter of fact, you jump on I-90 and probably take that all the way to, 95 and go on head on up to New York City. 3 nights, Yankee Stadium. Mr. Sean Carter, your man Jay-Z, sold out 3 nights Yankee Stadium. So let me just say, I'm a big fan of Jay's music, absolutely, positively, from all the way back in the day. So if you are a fan of Jay-Z's music, and you went to the concert, you were not let down. They had all kind of, celebrity guests 3 nights. Beyonce came on stage. His daughter Blue Ivy was playing a piano. And, all the cast that was part of Rock Nation. I think Memphis Bleak, I saw him on TV. Eminem showed up. Alicia Keys showed up. LeBron didn't come out on stage, but he was there. I saw some pictures. He was there one night, I think Friday night, the first night. Now, it was a little issue, maybe, was it last night? Or either Saturday night or last night. You had a little issue there because folks are so amped. And, of course, Jay-Z's from New York, the Marcy Projects in Brooklyn. So, he's a native son. People love him. A lot of people love him. But a lot of people are saying, well, damn, Jay, read the room. Now, I'm going to get back to that. But first of all, I just want to set the scene here. And up front, I am a big fan of Jay's music. I am not going to front, not at all. Been a fan of his music all along, absolutely. I still like his music. Now, I have to confess. Would I have gone to the concert? There's a conversation I gotta have, and I think that we need to have this. It's really bigger than Jay-Z. Jay-Z is just going to be a symbol for this conversation that we as a community and as a culture, we have had and we need to keep having. And I'm going to use this opportunity to highlight this conversation and to highlight like the times we're living in. And like we got to be able to read the room right now, read America. But anyway, so Jay-Z sold out, had an issue one of the nights. Some of his fans, without tickets, figured out a way. I guess they found a security checkpoint that they could bum rush, and they did. They bum rushed it, and folks who didn't have tickets were getting in front of people who bought tickets. You couldn't get in. It was crazy because they had to shut the gate, stop letting people in for at least 2 hours. I've heard anywhere from 2 to 3 hour delay before they could start the concert. It was supposed to start at 8. It didn't start. It didn't start before 10. So the earliest it started was 10. I heard sometimes it was a 3 hour, but officially the show was supposed to start at 8 p.m. each night. And it didn't start until 10 that night because folks just bum rushed to security checkpoints. It's like, man, I can't afford no ticket, but I want to see Jay-Z. And I don't know, somebody will say, yo, we got one. Found a checkpoint where they could bum rush. Because I saw this one little sister. I don't know if was she security or New York cop? But it was like this one sister. She had some kind of uniform. I couldn't see like the patch. And they just bum rushed her ass. I felt bad for it. It was like she wasn't even there. They was just like, Have a move, girl. Y'all, come on, let's go. It was funny. Nobody got hurt, thank God. She did. The officer didn't get hurt. And the folks, now, if I had bought a ticket and I saw these folks bum rushing to just storm the damn gate and snuck in and got in free, and then all of a sudden they shut it down, I had to wait 2 hours, yeah, I'd have been pretty upset. I might have wanted to grab some of the folks by the back and your ass, your trifling ass, fucking it up for me. I paid for this ticket, and your broke ass, hood ass, I digress. So, yeah, that happened too. So now let me segue to when I said reading the room, and when I said this conversation I'd love to have with Jay. So Jay-Z, he did address the criticism, the critique that he has received from doing this deal with Target. So now, of course, you know, if you don't know, Target was one of the first major corporations that decided that they were going to eliminate and cut back or get rid of their diversity, equity, and inclusion programs that they had, DEI, that they really initiated in 2020 after George Floyd was murdered. Target volunteered. They said, yeah, we're going to commit to like $2 million, and we only $2 million. This is the thing. This is black folks are spending somewhere between $10 to $12 million a day at Target before black people said, wait a minute, hold on. Now you going to just, wait, you going to, just because you scared of this orange Hitler dude, and you just going to just, like, he ain't even sat in the seat. His little funky ass hadn't even, funked up the damn seat in the Oval Office, and y'all decided to, oh, well, we're getting rid of our diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. And black people said, especially black women, there was no more loyal customer base. There was no more loyal customer that Target had than black women. They even came up with a nickname for it, Target. So black people in general and black women specifically said, oh, really? That's what y'all gonna do? So you just really disrespect me. You don't give a shit about me. You don't respect me. You don't value me. You don't value my money. You don't respect my money. So how about me not give you any more of my money? Collectively, that's what black women and black people, including black men, because the closest I see to Target is when I drive by it going someplace else. That's about the closest I get to Target. So Jay-Z decided to do this deal to where he partnered up with Target. They are releasing he's got an album called Reasonable Doubt. And this year marks the 30th anniversary of the release of his Reasonable Doubt albums. Some say his greatest album, definitely one of his best albums ever. I like it. But people are saying, well, like, damn, Jay, like, read the room, brother. Why would you down with the culture and the community and, supposedly you love black folks. Black people have supported you and put you in a position to where you could even segue into this millionaire status that these colonizers even wanted to be bothered with you and F with you in the first place. It was black folks in the Marcy projects that you grew up in, all the other projects in New York and Chicago and you name the city, LA and DC and Atlanta and Birmingham and Houston and Dallas and St. Louis and Detroit and Milwaukee and all over America. Yeah, and then the white kids eventually started buying your music, but it was black folks that put you on. Big Daddy Kane put you on stage, let you and another rapper, perform for him in between, like when he was doing like this Diana Ross, he was changing clothes, like from song to song. You have different scenes, I got a different outfit, and while he was changing outfits, Kane will tell you the story. I'm sure you can probably find it right here on YouTube. Shout out to Big Daddy Kane. He's the one that put Jay-Z on, right? Okay? So black folks really supported Jay. Now you talk about, well, he's giving $500 million. I don't know. I haven't seen the receipts, Jay. I don't know. This $500 million, this $500 million you say you've given to the community, the black community and the culture. I ain't seen the receipts. Now, not to compare you, but since you put it out there, you were on stage doing your freestyle and say, 500, half a bill, to the community or culture, something like that. I'm like, okay, we do know, and she's got the receipts. Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, Mackenzie Scott, has given HBCUs over $1 billion, not $500 million, over $1 billion since 2020. Over $1 billion. And she wasn't the one that was, telling everybody. It was the HBCUs that was saying, yo, shout out to Mackenzie Scott. What, man, she didn't even go to a HBCU. But she did take some classes. She studied under Toni Morrison, the iconic, one of the greatest writers in the history of humanity. Brilliant sister. Toni Morrison, I know my viewers, but Toni Morrison is incredible. So shout out to Toni Morrison for having an influence. And Mackenzie Scott has talked about the influence that Toni Morrison had on her while she was a student in one of Toni Morrison's classes. So, okay, you said, Jay said $500 billion to the, I'm just saying, I haven't heard no HBCU, and this is no shade, but I'm saying since you got on stage, this was your response to the criticism you got. So, okay, you put it out there, so fine, let's have this conversation. You said you spent $500 million, great. You hadn't talked about it, but maybe somebody should have talked about it. We ain't seen the receipts. I digress. I'm moving on from that. But I'm just saying. So, now, yeah, you don't have Mackenzie Scott's money, but Jay-Z is pretty upset about the criticism that he's gotten from the black community, specifically, about him doing his deal with Target. And the criticism, it's a question and criticism. It's like, Jay, you knew that black America had focused on Target, had targeted, no pun intended, had targeted Target. Because how they just walked away. Now, Target was not the only company, all right? Walmart, we see you out there, but it was just black America, and specifically black women, had a unique relationship with Target that they did not have with Walmart or no other of these major big box retailers. No. Black America and black women, Black America was spending somewhere like $10 million a day at its peak until we pulled our money back, and then the value of Target dropped on Wall Street like 40%. The value of that company at its peak, it lost 40% of its value. The CEO got fired, and they still have not completely recovered. And they've tried to hire everybody. They tried to hire Steve Harvey, any celebrity, any blackface they could, and say, hey, man, would you tell black people and tell them black women to please come back and start spending money at Target? And for the most part, the culture and the community, black America has been like, nah, you gave us your ass to kiss one time, never again. Now, some individuals, if y'all want to go on and keep kissing Target's ass, and even worse, giving these people your money that don't give a shit about you. Yeah, Walmart don't give a shit about you either. And folks shop at Walmart, unfortunately, probably out of necessity, because especially if you live in a little small town, a little rural area, hell, the only damn store they got is a Walmart in a whole lot of places, black or white. So I digress. So Jay-Z's upset. He talked about it. He just talked about, he tried to point out hypocrisy. You criticize me for it. Now, I'm not mimicking his freestyle. I'm not doing that, but I'm just saying, he talked about people criticizing him about Target. He's like, you shop at Amazon, you got an Amazon account, you on Instagram, that's Meta, you on Google, they on YouTube. Yeah, I'm on YouTube right now. But 99.99 out of 100%, 99.999% of all fans that was at Yankee Stadium all 3 nights, Jay. I'd probably say 100%. Well, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna go 100%. Well, 99.999. The only one that got your money or more, whatever night that LeBron was there. But virtually 99.99% of all the fans that came to see you all 3 nights, they're not billionaires. They don't have that kind of money. They don't have the options that you have. That you didn't need Target. You're a billionaire. Target did do you a favor. Hell, you're doing them a favor. So knowing that the black community and the culture that they've made a statement, because they're making it, sometimes you got to pick somebody to be the example. You got to make an example out of somebody so these other corporations at least know, okay, if we got a strong black consumer base, we can fuck around and find out if we want to, like Target, or we can not disrespect black people. And if we gonna get rid of DEI, our diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, which also benefit white people, even white men benefited from diversity, equity, and inclusion. White men benefited from diversity, equity, and inclusion because it helped young white men whose grades were not necessarily up to par. It made sure that they got enrolled, especially in some of these Ivy League schools, because, well, recently, more, not just, more, the most degreed person in America are black women. But even there were more white women that were enrolling in college, more so than white men. But diversity, equity, and inclusion programs allow universities to make sure they could go out and at least create a pathway for more white men who normally may not have qualified to get into some of these schools. You didn't know that, huh? Well, now you know. But the point, Jay, is like, dude, you understand. Come on, you understand the assignment. You know that we specifically targeted Target because of the unique relationship that the black community and black women had with Target. So why would you just kind of go piss on that and be like, or it don't matter. Let me go do this. And I don't know. Some other rappers apparently had the same deal. But you know what? They would have the same conversation. But now we're having a conversation with you because you're the most recent one. And you are the one. Now, I don't know if Nas did it. I may have heard that. Nas has got, some say he's a billionaire too. He would get the same conversation. The same applies to him. But since you got on stage and did a freestyle and addressed the criticism, so we are going to respond and address the criticism that you gave to those of us that criticized or just made the observation and just asked the question, dude, why, really, this wasn't a good move? And B, you let your man go out the house with that on. I'm speaking figuratively. It was like, but he a grown man. Who knows? She probably like, look, he do what he want to do. So I just had to because I've heard somebody say, well, what's up with Beyonce? How come she ain't try to say something? Listen, men can be hard-headed. Ladies, you understand that. You got a man, you can give us great advice, and we hard-headed, can't tell us nothing. We know it all. We know more than you and everybody else, so we're going to do what we want to do. And Jay he has that kind of energy. I pick up people's energy and their spirit. And Jay definitely got that energy like, can't nobody tell me what to do. I'm going to do what I want to do. Like he said, I don't kiss nobody's ass. It's like, oh yeah, he got that energy. So even if Beyonce tried to talk to him and just tried to reason with him and say, man, doing this deal with Target, You don't need to do that, baby. He probably went, I don't know. I'm just having a little fun here. Just a little speculation and just a little humor. But the bottom line is, Jay was in his feelings about the criticism and just the questions about, why are you fucking with Target, man? You're a billionaire. You don't need Target to help you put out the 30th anniversary of Reasonable Doubt. Target is benefiting more than you are. You could have did that completely on your own. It just felt, many black Americans just felt that was like either a slap in the face, or at least it's like, damn, dude, you just like F us? You not even, are you paying attention? Are you reading the room? Are you woke? Are your eyes open? Like, really? And it's not a criticism of Jay, because I'm a huge fan of Jay's music. And really, I wanted to have this conversation as I wrap up the monologue to tie it into a bigger picture. I'm using this example of Jay-Z choosing a check over the culture. He's not the only one. Stephen A. Smith, 50 Cent, Nelly, Snoop Dogg, all them fools that performed at Orange Hitler's inaugurational balls. Ice Cube has caught some strays, some other folks. I could go on and on and on and on. But in terms of like entertainers, celebrities, especially real popular celebrities that have caught that smoke, gotten that criticism, attention, like, dude, you chose the culture. And Stephen A. Smith is one of the more notorious ones. Choose to check over the culture, and all them folks that performed for Orange Hitler, doing all those inaugurational balls, all those demonic balls, all that celebrating hate and bigotry and racism and misogyny and sexism. Y'all knew the energy. Even if you were like, well, it wasn't like Orange Hitler called us. It was some people affiliated with him. Come on. You knew you would, whoever wrote you the check, you know that it was affiliated with Orange Hitler's inauguration. So, but hey, you got a right to choose. I've said this, I've done several monologues. You have a right to choose the check over the culture, but we have a right to call you out on it and to criticize you, because especially read the room, the times we are living in now, to where you got Orange Hitler doing everything he can. They've already done as much as they can. He's had these states basically to redraw, they call it redrawing lines, to draw lines where black voters have little to no political power, redrawing lines, redistricting lines to where black elected officials are losing their seats and will have a hard time to get elected. So he's doing and all the hundreds of thousands of qualified, talented black government employees, not to mention because he wrote this executive order saying that diversity, equity, inclusion was illegal, and if you get any federal funds, that those funds will be taken away from you if we see that you have any type of diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, which benefited white people too, especially white men along with white women. You didn't know that? Yeah, white men, you benefited too. Some of y'all, not the billionaires, but not the billionaires, but the broke-ass white kids, the young men that really weren't like the straight A students that wouldn't get into these good universities. I digress, because I just mentioned that a few minutes ago. So, we're living in a time where there's an attack, literal attack on black America. We've got 18-year-old teenage kids, star athletes, disappearing, found dead, down near Biloxi, Mississippi. In Horn Lake, found dead in a lake. Black kids turning up missing in wrestling mats. Black men, black women turning up missing, turning up dead. There's an attack on black America at every level. Every level. And it's starting with this criminal regime an orange Hitler, to where he's doing everything he can to legislate it, to take away all the political power, to take away as much economic power by setting a mandate and creating a climate and executive orders to where hundreds of thousands to millions of black people qualified, been in positions for 10, 15, 20 plus years. Started with some of the most qualified people in the military. You got rid of all of them because you want to get rid of all the qualified black folks. And now you got this incompetent, drunk ass Secretary of Defense, punk ass Pete Hegseth with his punk ass. Now you got America in this war. The prices of everything have gone up. But the point of we are in a climate, and Jay-Z, you understand this, there's an attack on black America. Hundreds of thousands, millions of black Americans have lost their job. SNAP benefits are being cut, but that hurts poor white folks too. But the point I'm trying to make, you, Jay, you know it. That's why you getting the criticism. It's like, really, Target, that was an unforced error, Jay. You didn't even, just to be spiteful, just because I'm Jay-Z, I can do what the fuck I want to do. That's the attitude you have. And that's what people are criticizing you for. And you know what? You proved, everybody that felt that way and said those things about you, you proved them right. By getting on stage and being in your feelings and trying to point out the hypocrisy. Well, you on Instagram, that's by Meta. Oh, boycott. Oh, you got an Amazon account. Boycott. You use Google. Oh, that's YouTube. Come on, Jay, don't do that. You got a right to choose to check over the culture, but we got a right to point it out. With you and anybody else, myself included. If I start choosing to check over the culture, please call me out. But don't worry, because my own family would call my ass out, from my mother to the Maris, Boogie, definitely the baby girl. Allie would call my ass out. She would come on camera and take over this show. She'd be like, my dad has lost his mind because he is tripping, because he has chosen a check over the culture and his community. I promise me. And Allie don't want to be on TV, but if her daddy was to do that, you would see her standing in this spot. She's like, my dad, I don't know. We got to, I don't know what's going on with him. Maybe he'll go see it Sunday right, because something shifted. No, so I have folks in my life that would check me quickly. They'd be like, we don't care how much money you got. You don't choose to check over the culture. We have a responsibility, especially in the times that we're living in now, because this regime and this anti-blackness is global. But this regime, it is emboldened, it is energized, it is given racism and bigotry and hate and violence toward black people, a permission structure to just do it. The old Nike slogan, just do it. Now, just doing it has got a lot of you all's ass whooped. So don't let Orange Hitler get your ass whooped. To all the racists out there, all you white nationalists, tread lightly, because I've seen video. A lot of y'all are getting the brakes beat off of your ass, run up on the wrong black person. And I don't encourage violence, but as Malcolm X said, we have a right to defend ourselves. Absolutely. You have a human right to defend yourself from anybody, whoever it is. My grandfather said, never start a fight, but always finish it. Never start a fight, but always end it. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life. As always, God bless each and every one of you, and especially you. Shout out to everybody that's been watching this show live. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Thank you to my mom. Thank you for watching. You're supposed to get some rest. So thanks, everybody. I really appreciate you. So we'll see you Wednesday. No live show on Tuesday. We'll be back live Wednesday, 7:30. Like, share, subscribe right now. Don't forget, do me a favor once again before the show ends. I need you right now to click on that like button, like, share, copy and paste the link, and share this episode on every platform there is. Go ahead, copy and paste it and send it to Jay-Z too. Please send it to him. Like, share, and subscribe to the Geno Jones Show YouTube channel. Pretty soon we'll have a new, within the next 2 weeks, brand new start time, 7 p.m. in roughly about 2 weeks or less. 7 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. Central time, 4 p.m. on the West Coast. That'll be our new start time in a little less than 2 weeks, in about 2 weeks or less. Get ready for that. Shout out to Allie Jones, the official wardrobe consultant and stylist for the Geno Jones Show. You can check her and her Lexi Jones collection out on Instagram, lx.ncl_. lx.ncl_. Shout out to Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show. He's the CEO of Designer Cuts. Check him out on Instagram, on IG, KLB Cutting Up, KELBECUTTINUP. I love you. Real love, yes, I love you. And real love, it is a verb. It's an action word. Show somebody you love them. We'll see you live Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Come on, click on the like button. Like this episode. Please share this episode. Copy and paste the link right now. And tell everybody to subscribe to the Geno Jones Show YouTube channel. We love to have you as a sponsor or advertise. It's so important to support Black-owned media. So if you'd like to be a sponsor, you like to run your ads, your campaign ads, your business ads, or whatever it is, you've got a TV commercial or digital video ad, or you just want to support Black-owned media, it is so important you can do that. You can reach out to me. You can Zelle Geno Jones Show at Gmail, all right? You can Zelle, no amount is too small or too large, Geno Jones Show at Gmail. Also, you can support Black-owned media and support my media company via Cash App, $ Dad G Jones. That's $ capital D, lowercase a d, capital G J, lowercase ONES. Or if you like to be a sponsor, advertise, I'll get you a sponsorship package. Shoot me an email, GenoJonesShow@gmail.com. That's how you spell it. I love you. We'll see you live. If you missed any of this episode, go back and watch it. We'll see you live Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 Chicago. Stand-up shows and few DJs. The big picnic and music festival was the bomb. Shout out to Taste of Chicago. Colin, I saw you comment. I saw some video doing your thing. Live in Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Portland, Oregon. Everybody on the West Coast, 4:30 p.m. in the afternoon. We'll see you Wednesday. I'll holla. I'll holla.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of The Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.